well, who will be on the way to Old Trafford in 40 minutes' time. Odds, obviously, very much in favour of the Leeds Rhinos at this particular point in time. Do the Catalan Dragons have any petrol left in the tank? It's remarkable when you think, you know, that the Leeds Rhinos, they lost in Perpignan 4 months ago. Since then, they've lost just one of 13 matches since, and they've won 8 in a row at Headingley. Their last defeat was a shock reverse against Harlequins here on the 24th of April. They made the choice. They finished top of the league. They got through the first week of the playoffs unscathed, so it meant that they would have the club call. They chose the Catalan Dragons. It has been a bloody confrontation at times, but no wonder when you look at the last 6 minutes of that first half why they chose the Dragons. They ran them off their feet in the end. Now, do they have anything left, the Catalans? The kick from Bosch is fielded by Scott Donald. What a kick that was. I mean, the skill to kick a ball full stop, but to kick it at that pace for Danny Maguire was just outstanding.
Yeah, breathtaking. And let's not also forget that the wonderful long pass by the loose forward and captain Kevin Sinfield was outstanding too. But the composure that Scott Donald displayed. Oh, that'll be play on. No, it's reefed away. Well, they certainly didn't want that. I was just going to make the point that Kevin Walters would have got to his players at half-time and said, now listen, it is important we do not concede points early. Trying to get back up the field of play. They finished up with 10 missed tackles, did the French side in that first 40 minutes. The only problem is that 9 of them came in the final 10 minutes, which just shows you the ability that Leeds have in keeping the ball alive. That was sending them through gap after gap. Can't afford to do that second half, otherwise they could run riot. The Rhinos.
Maguire pops the ball up to number 17, Ian Kirk. And he is aiming for a third consecutive grand final appearance, of course. Ian Kirk, he broke his leg against the Catalan Dragons in Perpignan in June in that defeat I was just talking about. Whoa, that's a big hit on Keith Senior. I tell you what, if Leeds do get to Old Trafford, they'll go there black and blue. This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
And that's probably the reason why you might see Leeds go for broke early in the second half, because Brian McLennan realises that it's going to be a tough encounter whoever he meets at Old Trafford. Because he might rest a few, Eddie.
Oh, raking pass out wide to Scott Donald! Scott Donald over for the first try in the second half. I think Leeds are on the way. I can't see Catalan Dragons coming back now. 13th try of the Super League season for Scott Donald. Tries in 7 of 9 before tonight against Catalan Dragons since 2006, but only 1 try in the 3 this year. His 9th playoff appearance, only 1 try. That came in the 2007 Grand Final. Here's his second.
Maguire stealing the ball there from the big fella, Luke Burgess, and from it, again, just suck them in, and then the long pass. 1-2, Sinfield yet again, look at that, over the top. It's simple in the end, nothing can do about it. Dimitri Pello. It's the one way you'll always break down a sliding defence on the angle, and this is it, over the top. Pello, he was expecting it to be a short ball, it wasn't, it was a long one from the skipper Kevin Sinfield, and Donald, who created a tremendous try for Maguire, goes in himself.
Sinfield has missed with another kick. 26 points to 4 though. The Catalan Dragons have set up a big screen at their home ground in Perpignan, and there are no doubt thousands of Catalan supporters watching back home. They'll be disappointed with the start that they've made to the second half, and they've brought their travelling support here to Headingley. Just seen themselves on our big screen here.
Well, the fans in the south of France will be hoping that Leeds aren't quite as ruthless as the last time we were here in the playoffs. Of course, in that second half, sometimes forget just how clinical Leeds were. 34 points to 0 in the second half, because they maintained their focus and concentration for 80-minute period. Now, as I say that, passage of poor play here, some poor skill. They've passed the ball, in fact, lost it inside their own quarter.
They did a little knock on. It was spotted there by Senior.
To be fair, it wasn't the best pass, and it's just a little bit of a word to say with Maguire. Well, it's been the Maguire show, hasn't it?
Here's Adam Mogg.
Been sensational, but he's come up with a couple of errors as well.
Green Shields. Tremendous run, that looping run of his as Mogg attacks the line. This is Elima. Now, can the Catalan Dragons give their supporters at home something to cheer about? Maguire waits. Back it comes to Thomas Bosk. He then finds Mogg again. Mogg trying to get away from Senior, but him and Jones Buchanan scragging to the ground. That's the third tackle. Bosk at dummy half. Going down the short side. Green Shields wide to Ragan and further wide, and it's a try, is it? I think that's the second try for Vincent Duport. It is. No need to refer that one upstairs. And a mistake by Keith Senior is punished. And the Cuatro Barros is flying at Headingley in the corner, but we haven't seen too much of that tonight, have we? Vincent Duport, his second try of the match. Well, consolation, or is it, will that trigger a fight back?
Well, it's going to be a long, long road to go for them, but that's the shocking pass from Maguire. Not the best attempt by Keith Senior. They had a little bit of a smile to each other, but they won't be laughing after this one. That's good play. Got the quality there, you can see the combination of the fullback Green Shields and then Sebastian Ragan, the big centre, offloads, Ryan Hall, he'd come in, and Duport, try number 2. He'll remember this. Could there be? Plenty of time.
7 tries we've seen tonight, 5 of them from wingers. Thomas Bosk to try and add the extras. It's just missed. Looked as though it was on its way over the top of the bar. I think the wind got hold of it, just held it up. But 26 points to 8 now.
I think deep down that he realises that it's not going to be easy for them to get back into this game, especially with the fact that they conceded that early try to the winger Scott Donald. Oh, what a great take there by Adam Mogg.
Here they're coming on. Chips again, and that's stolen from him, so it's a penalty to the Catalan Dragons.
Jamie Jones Buchanan certainly had to pull on it. What a take here. Allowed Australian rule style.
Let's go down to Bill.
Eddie Catalan haven't thrown the towel in yet, but really a last throw of the dice, I suppose, because Greg Bird has come back off the sidelines, and when they were at the most effective earlier on the game, Bird was on the field directing operations and also putting his considerable physique around as well. Jason Raz is back out there, so all hope not yet gone.
Not when Elima's running like this. Oh, but he's lost that ball.
There'll be no advantage, so he'll bring the scrum back.
No, it'll allow them to play on, because I think actually before it hit the deck, I think a foot shot out, and that was just kicked forward. It nullified the possible knock-on.
Well, that was automatically knocked out there by Lee Smith. It went backwards, so that's fine.
So it's play on anyway. Oh,
that's play on
Leeds
as well.
have lost it. Robborough asking for 6 to go, but the referee will have none of it.
Yeah, it was 1-1.
It's interesting that Greg Bird has, I mean, he wasn't too impressed with being taken off the field, was he? And why would you take off a player like Greg Bird? Here goes Webb. Here goes Webb. Pulled down by Adam Mogg. Last tackle here, that's why Burrow has hacked it downfield. Dimitri Pello is after this.
Bit strong.
Will beat everybody.
Or will it?
Oh, Pello will run it back.
Well, Leeds had given up. Only Pello said, oh, it might come back, and it did. Very difficult for the side to sort of chase that, because it looked for all the world, but Ryan McLennan might just make a mental note of that. It was a poor chase by the Rhinos, but it's so difficult, Eddie, when you've got a lead of 26-8, and the home fans, they're looking forward to Old Trafford already. Can't blame them. Strong lead indeed.
Good hit that was by Lee Smith, and he's got a penalty, has Olivier Elena.
Well, Lee Smith just hung around a little bit too long. A little bit of face massage on the way up. I'll have a little bit of a look at Richard Silverwood.
Last game, of course, at Headingley for Lee Smith, off to pastures new at the end of this season. Farewell to Headingley. 1 try required for 50 with the Leeds Rhinos. Wonder if he can capture that tonight, or will he leave it till next Saturday underneath the lights at Old Trafford, providing, of course, the Rhinos get there. They're favourites at the moment with this scoreline. Half an hour to go, though. And the Catalan Dragons have showed enough enterprise in this match to know that if they get a couple of tries, they're going to be a dangerous opposition. And here is Clint Greenshield.
It's always dangerous with ball in hand, that is for sure. And it's at that point now where Kevin Walters get the message out, look, we've got to try everything in the next quarter of an hour.
This is Gossard.
If Leeds can score 3 in 6 minutes, we can do exactly the same. But they've got to be quick about it.
Maguire! Just short of the line. Burrow and Senior doing the Senior doing the job on him. There's Bosch, dab over the top, plucked out of the air by Brent Webb.
You can't blame them. Thomas Bosch trying it, but it was well spotted by Brent Webb. It's a move that Thomas Bosch has utilised throughout this year, but he normally has Greenshields sort of zoning in on the inside there, but Greenshields wasn't about, only Webb was.
Leeds tend to have a great habit, Eddie, of absorbing pressure and then counter-attacking at pace. We saw a classic example before half-time with the 3 back-to-back tries that came up so quickly. And again, it's just that sense here, the crowd know that they're just waiting an opportunity. Here's a long kick again down from Sinfield. It seems a patient approach, but eventually there'll come a scoring spree, I've no doubt.
The kick from Sinfield held up, and Greenshields has to run it back, and it's a wall of Leeds jerseys that are ahead of him. Not tackled, he's still not tackled, now he is. Bosch. And this is Pella.
I think you got the feeling there when Clint Greenshields took that ball back that he was looking at extremely tired. He's had a tremendous season, though. He really has been one of the outstanding stars, not only for the side from Perpignan, but in Super League in total. I mean, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? Both in defence and attack.
This is Elima. They're over halfway, but 4 tackles gone. Maguire, Bosch, and Riles will drive it forward. Last tackle here. Not much progress made forward.
Chip over.
Mogg, they're running it. Now the chip through by Greg Bird turns Brent Webb around. Webb nimble enough on his feet just to get it past Greg Bird. The referee shouts held now, the feet were up.
He's too experienced, isn't he, the New Zealander Brent Webb. Anticipated that their only option was a kick down into the corner. He positioned himself extremely well. Leeds will be quite happy just to trundle this ball as close to the halfway line as they can.
Great strength from Senior. Sinfield, quick hands to Maguire. Maguire gets as far as Dimitri Pello. He seemed to have beaten Bale, all ends up. But Pello was there to halt him, and he's hurt is Maguire.
Yeah, he's not well.
And there's a mistake by Lee Smith, and this is Pello again.
Let's play on. Oh, it's... Well, what's he classified?
He's going to play the first one. It's head and feed to the Catalan Dragons. Meanwhile, of more concern to Leeds is the fact that Danny Maguire is under some stress, and so is Rob Burrow. 6 and 7 for Leeds, in a bit of trouble at the moment, injury-wise.
Well, I'm not so sure that the officials got that right. That's a knock-on, and Pello gets the ball, and then it goes backwards. That should have been played on. Well, I think he's got it wrong. I thought Jean-Philippe Bale had the chance to run forward.
Do you know, scrum's a great situation for them. And if you're an opposition coach looking how to get Leeds, they've looked vulnerable from scrums tonight. And at times this season as well, they've been exposed out wide.
Bosch feeds and gives it to Mogg. And Mogg then goes away from Sinfield and gets the ball out wide. And it's Vincent Duport who is in for the hat-trick. Well, Kevin Walters, he looked as though he'd lost a pound and found a penny not long ago. And well, The onion seller is in the crowd and is enjoying. There's a couple of them there, and it's not the normal French brew that they're drinking. Of best Yorkshire, and Vincent Duport with the hat-trick, and hope springs eternal for the Catalan Dragons. Phil picked it. They're vulnerable from the scrums of Leeds.
And they've made them pay, haven't they? Another error, and this was wonderful play. He's been outstanding for the Catalans as Adam Mogg, and this guy hasn't been too bad, has he? Hat-trick time for Mr. Duport. Can they? I made the point. If Leeds can do 3 tries in 6 minutes, Catalan, can they do the same? As I mentioned, he's had an outstanding match as Adam Mogg, the standoff, and he created that for the third for Mr. Duport.
I remember St Helens scoring a try from a scrum in a Challenge Cup game here earlier this season, Paul. It's only certain sides want to attack from scrums, but the ones who do tend to get rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing with scrums. It's another start of play, and it gives the backs, you know, so much room to run with the ball. There we see Adam Mogg beating 3 guys, getting outside Keith Senior to get a 2-on-1 with the winger.
Interesting if this goes over, and it does from Thomas Bosch. 26-14, 2 converted tries. And then we've been the drama of Golden Point. That's not in the Leeds Rhinos script in this second half. Ryan McLennan and Francis Cummins just making a note. There's plenty of time remaining.
This has to be a good kick-off as well. Getting deep, and it is. This will be awkward.
So here they come again, the Catalan Dragons with David Ferriol. Well, if Brian McLennan had any thoughts about resting some star players, believing that Leeds were already at Old Trafford, the scoring in this second half, after Leeds getting first blood, has not gone according to plan at all.
I don't think we're too worried at the moment, Eddie. He realises that they have had little possession for a while. But they've got nothing to lose, have they? Catalans, they're keeping it alive.
Bird offloads again to Green Shields. That's the 4th tackle gone. Well, he's running the show at the moment, isn't he? And here's Jean-Philippe Bale. Well, I cannot understand why Greg Bird would have been taken off, and I think they've got a penalty here. I think the Catalan Dragons are going to get a penalty here. Touch judge has seen something.
Well, it's a mystery, and maybe we, on the Red Button show, will be posing that question to Kevin Walters.
Well, we got Carl Luluai grapple tackle. Okay.
It's a Kylie Luluai grapple tackle. Down to Bill quickly.
As far as the Greg Bird situation goes, Eddie, I think it's the fact that he really does put himself about, and he certainly did in the opening 20 minutes, and they gave him a breather. Certainly checking on the Catalan bench, there's no mention of an injury, and he did have a breather, and that obviously has done him a power of good, because he's back out there and again driving the Catalan Dragons on. And there's concern in the Leeds ranks. Danny Maguire, like a man possessed, trying to urge his team just to lift themselves, because they've gone off the boil.
Yes, they have, and this is Jason Riles. And that penalty conceded on the last tackle. Bird to Mogg. Here is Green Shields. That's a tackle missed. There's some concern on the terraces suddenly. It was a party not long ago. Here goes Ferriol.
Great defence, though, it had to be as well. Senior right round the ankles.
Green Shields. Mogg. Short ball, finds Bird. Great offload again to Maguire. Riles stabs the ball looking for Dimitri Pello. Oh, an important flick from Scott Donald.
Beautiful kick through. And as you mentioned, they've got nothing to lose, have they? Just keep it alive. Maguire get the kick through there, the big forward, and then Donald, saved the day. He knows how close it is.
Indeed so, they get a scrum down because it went in touch of Scott Donald.
Adam Mogg is creating all sorts of problems for the Leeds defence at the moment.
Here he is again, pops the ball up to Sebastian Ragan. Boy, they've missed this fellow as well this year. He had a knee reconstruction pre-season, and there is some concern on the face of Brian McLennan. Maguire flips the ball back. Here goes Ferriol again. Danny Maguire. Casey Maguire. Olivier Elima.
Keep your eye on Green Shields. They'll try to get this flick right across onto that right section.
Maguire again. To Bosk. Here is Riles. Peacock couldn't get him down, so it's Bosk again. Ran into a bit of an ambush then because Peacock was getting to his feet after the initial tackle. Maguire and Mogg. Oh, another tackle missed this time by Diskin, and it was a high swinger as well. The pressure is building on the champions here.
And again, that just shows you the frustration there, because every time Adam Monk touches the football, there's panic in the Leeds ranks.
Riles will drive it in for the Catalan Dragons.
On the line.
Maguire gives the long pass to Bosk. On the bounce, it's a little untidy, but it finds its way to Sebastian Ragan.
Move. Go.
Green Shields waits. Green Shields harassed by Senior. Good work.
Move. Go.
Maguire down the short side. Leeds muscling up now in defence. We've seen their attacking prowess in the first half. It's the other side of their character right now. Bird feigned to fire the pass, then gave it to Mogg. Mogg will stab it through. It's tidied up by Lee Smith. Mogg recovered his ground to bring Lee Smith down.
Good work by Mogg, not only with a kick through, but also he was very alert to make sure that Smith couldn't break away. And Leeds will be quite happy to make sure that they keep possession for quite some time.
Penalty this time against Elima.
Just a little bit too much. Always helped by the South Stand screaming, of course, to the official, which they did with great gusto.
It's worth explaining to some viewers why that is a penalty, because he climbed back over him to try and get into the marker position. Once the tackle was completed, he had to release him. And Olivier Elima is the most penalised player in Super League. He's had a great season, scored tries like you wouldn't believe it. He needs to reduce his penalty count if he wants to leave France to glory.
Here is Peacock, who plays the ball quickly to Diskin. Now it's with Peacock. Peacock carries it forward again. It's a penalty. Back here, though, says the referee, Richard Silverwood. High tackle.
And a big problem for Olivier Elima as well.
He's suffering from cramp, I think, isn't he?
He could hardly get up off the ground. Build up to this.
Kirk is grounded. First tackle.
No panic now needed from the Rhinos. Just camp down there. Be all right. Get to the last, just a little dribble into the in-goal area.
Or he plays the ball to Senior.
Maybe squeeze a penalty. They'll take the 2 on that occasion.
This is Diskin. And Sinfield with the drop goal. Well, that's respect. That increases the lead to 13. Kevin Sinfield with his drop goal. Second of the season.
Very smart indeed. No one anticipated this apart from the man who passed him in, Diskin, and the skipper himself, Kevin Sinfield.
Tremendous record against the Catalan Dragons, Kevin Sinfield. Before tonight, 105 points.
Go back and tell your players want an improvement, okay?
And it's getting a bit scrappy, says Richard Silverwood. A word in the ear of both captains. Right, let's get down to Bill. He's been waiting patiently.
It hasn't been a very happy second half for the Leeds Rhinos, certainly not after they scored that early try. And one of the problems has been an injury to Brent Webb, who just went very quietly off the field. Not a great deal of fuss, but he's been back to the dressing room for treatment. He is out now.
Here's Gossard. This is Ragan. Missed by Lulawai. Short kickoff came up with a big dividend for the Catalan Dragons then. Maguire, Greg Bird. That's a knock-on
Yep.
by Kylie Lulawai.
He's trying to claim that it came off his tummy, but I think he just had a little bit of a tip on it. Yeah, it came off the arm. Well spotted by Silverwood. Now then, plan move again. Adam Mogg, the creator-in-chief. Bit of a blood problem.
Yeah, I think it's Jamie Peacock who just needs a wipe.
Nice kick-off though, wasn't it?
Wipe his face. Treat him out the back, please, if you can.
Not the best effort, I must say. They were claiming. And Sinfield was leading the charge to the official, saying that he was pushed out.
Well, here come the Catalan Dragons with Adam Mogg. Peacock getting the tackle in. Boy, he gets through some work, Jamie Peacock. Very on. Kevin Walters animated in the stand. Maguire down the short side, short ball to Bosk.
There'll be a knock-on again from Maguire, but he saved the day. They'll have more pressure, worrying time for Ryan McLennan. Kevin Walters knows the tick-tock is against him. He has this wonderful knack, doesn't he, Maguire, of just reading the opposition's ability to offload.
I'm not so sure about the clock, Steve. Still 16 to go. Score here.
Time back on.
Game on then, isn't it? It's a couple of scores, I know, but...
First. Move back.
That's why it was magnificent to think that Sinfield had enough brains to put over the 1 point.
Absolutely. Maguire back to Bosk. Wide they go. The touch judge is in orange, not white.
Not the best game, Thomas Bosk tonight. Although the combination between him and Adam Mogg has been quite successful, but that just was not what they needed. Anguish, I'm sure, on the face of the coach, Kevin Walters. Nothing that Pella could do about that.
Well, there's plenty of NRL Grand Final winners in the Catalan Dragons team. Casey Maguire, Dane Carlaw, Adam Mogg, Jason Riles, the battle-hardened as well from State of Origin football. No shortage of big match experience in their ranks. And to be fair, Phil, in the second half, they've given Leeds a bit of a run for the money, haven't they? A lot of us thought that they'd just fall off the perch in the second half. Not so.
And they've just missed a try-scoring opportunity there. If Thomas Bosk had been able to find that pass, the chance and the space was there. Donald was in field. But I don't think they'll get very many more chances, especially with the penalty here now. Good footwork.
Great footwork from Ryan Hall. High shot from David Ferriol.
Yeah, he just stepped him and didn't miss either. Good job that Ryan Hall just got the elbow across.
Greg Bird there in the picture number 26. It's a remarkable fact. When he left the field in the first half, Leeds scored 4 tries before he came back on. And since he's been back on in the second half, Catalan Dragons have looked a different side. I wonder if Kevin Walters really will regret taking him off. I mean, he's paid, isn't he, to make the big decisions. That was a massive decision.
Well, he could have gone the other way as well, you know. Bill mentioned that...
but Greg Bird, Steve, didn't want to come. He didn't want to go off the field.
I know that, but Kevin Walters probably thought that he needed him late in the game. It was going to be a bit of a problem.
Ferriol was a little bit high again then. Here's another penalty. Elima was all over the top of Kylie Luluai.
This will be kicked into the corner. I don't think they'll bother for the 2. It's near the halfway line. Well, I'm not so sure about the flow-up. I thought he'd let him go.
20th penalty of the match.
I think now, 25 minutes into this second half, you're starting to tell, the fatigue again with the Catalan side. You see the big fellas there, Ferriol, 2 penalties, high tackles. The footwork of the Leeds players is really starting to cause the Catalan problems.
Diskin. Sinfield. There's a meat in a jambon sandwich then.
And the sandwich has come up with a bit of mustard on it because it slipped away.
Dijon mustard, Stephen.
But of course. Well, I rather fancy the English. I like a little bit extra spice. Not so much smoothness. Did you get across the channel? We're talking of mustard, especially this game. This has been the best in the playoffs, hasn't it? It's been outstanding.
Well, the Catalan Dragons have a penalty now.
He's been the hero, though, hasn't he, Danny Maguire?
Well, the story about Greg Bird will run and run. Bill's been checking again.
Yeah, just a quick word with Steve Hooper, conditioner for the Catalan Dragons, just whether Greg Bird is carrying some sort of injury. Adamantly not. The guy, he said, just gets through so much work in the middle. On top of the ball handling work he does, he contributes an awful lot more, and he'd done that exactly in the first quarter of the game. They felt he deserved a breather.
Here's Dane Carlaw, meanwhile. They really do have to chance their arm now, keep the ball alive, which they are doing.
Oh, good work by Ryan Hall. Oh, it looks like he's got a finger in the eye. Ryan Hall has gone down very, very quickly. I think that's a finger in the eye.
That's painful.
Yeah. May have come from his own player. Was it Diskin, perhaps? Oh, it's hard to say. By the way, he's not in good shape at the moment. Yeah, I think it was Diskin's finger. Just scraped across. Unintentional, of course. You don't do that to your own teammate. Don't do it to the opposition.
Let's stay calm.
This will be worrying for Brian McLennan, and he appears to be okay.
Watery eyes, obviously,
which is good to see.
He's jogged back into his defensive position. Here is Riles, meanwhile.
Well, obviously Catalan need to go to his wing. They've got the opposite at the moment.
Bosk, back it comes to Mogg. Mogg to Greenshields. Greenshields back to Mogg. Oh, Eleanor just put it down.
And that, I think, Kevin Walters realises was the last throw of the dice. They had to score there. Desperation, inside pass from Clint Greenshields, and Elmer just couldn't put it in.
He saw Kylie Luai coming at it at the corner of his eye.
Yeah. Can they force the error? Can Catalan? It's been a brave effort. You know, soon after the restart, when they threw the ball out wide and Scott Donald raced in for the try, made that 26-4. I think everybody, including perhaps quite a few of the Catalan players, thought maybe this is it. But to their credit, they have dug deep.
Well, he's everywhere, isn't he, Greg Bird? He was packing down then in the hooking role. I don't think he'll be wanting to leave the scene again, though, tonight. See it through. And he was there leading the charge on Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Jason, go!
Well, if Leeds needed a tough encounter to take with them, that was that
Maguire.
Yeah.
Maguire was a bit high.
I thought he got him with the shoulder to start with.
The Leeds players have got the wrong man here, because Maguire has made a quick exit stage right.
Yeah, it was a left arm going over the top, and he knows it. He just stands back and watches everybody else. Yet it is. The first impact perhaps was low. It finished up in the face. See? And then off the shoulder. Let's get out of here, they said. Well, everyone lost their head. He strolled away. Could be a vital penalty. He's had a busy night, hasn't he, Richard Silverwood? One way or another.
High tackle. Who was the high tackle by? Who was the high tackle? I've got the high tackle.
Well, someone whispering Richard's ear, it was Casey Maguire.
Casey.
It was a flailing arm rather than a vindictive swipe, wasn't it?
You shot at the line, you've caught him high. OK, I've just asked down there for an improvement.
It's 10 minutes to go. Right, 10 minutes there, so he's going to give it everything we've got.
Right. Take on board what I'm telling you. You've got an high tackle, ask for an improvement. OK, you're now on an official caution.
All right, well, there you go. Next infringement could be yellow card, but Greg Bird said, look, we've got 10 minutes to go. This is the end of our season.
You've got to give it your best shot, and he's right. And they will. And let's hope that the terminology of shot is trying to play good open-style rugby league and not try to take someone's head off.
11 minutes to go. Leeds favourites to be at Old Trafford, but the Catalan Dragons are fighting for their very lives in the Engage Super League here. And this is Jamie Peacock. Bill's been checking on the injuries now, Bill.
Yeah, the idea was that Leeds would have a pretty comfortable evening this evening, and then they'd watch Wigan and Saints knock 7 bells out of each other tomorrow night. But I reckon Leeds are going to come out of this feeling very bruised indeed. Brent Webb still on the sidelines. I think it might be this back problem that he's had this season that has caused a bit of a problem. He's been back to the dressing room, and Ryan Bailey, of course, is still on the sidelines, and he came off and had ice applied to a hip injury, loads of ice as well. So they're not going to get away from this scot-free.
No, they're not, and oh dear, worrying by referee will bring them back. It's a penalty here to the Catalan Dragons. I think it's a man who has been tackled without the ball.
Yeah, someone pulled him back.
Just on the Brent Webb situation, Steve, I remember last year Brent Webb missed the grand final and the World Cup because of a back injury.
Yeah. And to be fair, when he actually came back, he struggled somewhat, didn't he, to find top form. And it will be a shame because Brian McLennan rates him as one of the best in the world, and he's spot on in that department. So it's going to be a tough ask now whether they can get themselves fit. Well, that's not good, talking to the official like that.
Oh, great pass from Maguire.
Go 10, 3.
Well, they are going to give it their best shot in the last 10 minutes of the season. Here's Bosk. This is Elima. Bale. That's play on. That is play on. Referee and touch judge have that exactly right. Elima will play it to Maguire again. Thomas Bosk. Riles saw a gap, spun to the ground.
Shame there was no support there. He could have offloaded.
That's one.
Kick over.
Up it goes off the boot of Bosk again. Who wants it? Scott Donald will have it. And he can turn defence into attack immediately, but not this time.
Brian Hall might have a little bit of a dink here himself.
Well, last time that Leeds topped the table, 2004, indeed the only time prior to this year, they beat Bradford in the grand final. They could be on their way back to Old Trafford in about 8 minutes' time.
I think the only challenge for Leeds now, Eddie, is to finish on a high. Obviously here the ball from Maguire goes in front of the players and over the sideline, so they want to finish with some positive memories to carry into training this week and to take to the big game next Saturday. The focus will have to be on defence, and I suppose from this point here now.
It will be. You know, the administrators of the game and all of us who observe the game, you know, we roundly have applauded this club call. I wonder what the players of Leeds think about it, because the fact that Catalan Dragons were picked as the, quote, easy beats, unquote, has really upset them. And look what they've done to Leeds tonight. They've given them real bruising, haven't they?
Well, it wasn't going to be an easy affair, was it? Let's face it. I mean, the way that the Catalans have shown over the past 4 weeks, they really have hit top form. Boosted by the fact that they've had a regular squad week in, week out, and it just shows you, if you can do that, you can get some rugby league football put together.
Bosk is trying to get away from Simon Worrell and get away from Ian Kirk, and he can't do so.
I still reckon Catalans are capable of coming out with something sensational. They might not win the game, but they'll come up with something. That's a shame.
It is. Remy Casti just went in front of Adam Mogg.
Boy, if he got wages for trying, this Adam Mogg would be a millionaire tonight, because he has tried to do everything. There's nothing that Casti could do about that.
There's Remy Casti. I tell you what, he's a French international. We might be talking in the Four Nations about Casey Maguire, Adam Mogg and Clint Greenshields as French internationals. You know, that would boost the French, wouldn't it? That could give 1 or 2 coaches a sleepless night.
Well, the French Rugby League have said quite clearly they want them. They're still awaiting the confirmation from the International Federation. I think they should. I mean, let's face it, England have selected in the past, Great Britain have selected in the past, people have qualified because of living here in this country, so why not if they've been living in France the required time? I would look forward to it.
There's another dodgy play the ball, this time by Luke Burgess. Well, we've had 2 Irishmen this week, Ben Harrison and Chris Bridge, putting their hands up for England, so it seems anything goes. So let's have them in. I mean, it would make the Four Nations highly competitive.
Well, it was always going to be a bit of a problem when we just completely did away with Great Britain, didn't we?
That's it. That's it.
This Catalan Dragon side, the vast majority of Bobby Goulding's train-on squad. There's about 17 he's named from the Dragons. And assorted others, the likes of Eric Anselm, for instance, who played here for Leeds on loan. Great ball from Riles. Thomas Bosk. He's just held up short. That's an important tackle there by Ian Kirk. Looping pass to Adam Mogg. Green Shields was calling for it. Mogg will get the try. 6 minutes to go. The referee hasn't given it yet.
I think he's looking for maybe a little bit of an obstruction there, but Adam Mogg, to be fair, has worked his socks off tonight. Pushes him through. No, there's nothing wrong with there. Nothing wrong with that at all. This will be given. Could it be? And could it be so important, that drop goal from Sinfield? No, there's nothing wrong there.
He goes back the other way, doesn't he? And then there's a guy, well, I suppose there's a guy there loitering with intent,
this has got to be given by Phil Bentham.
Well, if he looks at the grounding, we'll know it probably will be given, and he is.
And that's the right decision.
Well, now, this goes over from Bosk, and I bet your life it will. Try is given. This kick for 27-20. Haven't they given a really good account of themselves tonight, the Dragons?
They've been outstanding. They really have dug deep, and full credit to the entire club.
Do you know what? They've wasted 30 seconds, though. The ball should have been teed up and kicked, Eddie. You say every second counts in the playoffs. They've wasted some valuable ones there.
27-20, and Kevin Walters knows that his men really have taken Leeds all the way tonight, and that Kevin Sinfield drop goal in the 62nd minute with 18 minutes remaining. Maybe some purists might have scratched their heads, but what a great move that was.
And again, throwing the dummy. Not the best attempt to tackle there by Kevin Sinfield. No one went for the legs. He's had an outstanding match.
There's Mogg, and here they come again, the Catalan Dragons. Well, surely not. Can they do anything about this? Can they sneak this match? I suppose they have to score in this set of 6 if they're going to do it.
Yeah, and remember, late in the season, that wonderful effort from Thomas Bosch. That's a knock-on. That might seal it. I'm just going to make the point. Remember Thomas Bosch against Harlequins down in Perpignan. One of the most sensational tries you'll see. Was that aided and abetted maybe by a hand from Sinfield either way. Casti couldn't keep hold of it.
It was a tremendous hit by Kevin Sinfield. So Leeds with the feed at the scrum, 40 metres out. Here is Danny Maguire, pops it up to Senior. Oh, and
that's
another knock-on. Is it? No, back to 0 in the tackle count, says the referee.
Said a double knock-on there.
Whose knock-on is it? The referee wiped the tackle count down first.
I think the touch judge says that it was Leeds that knocked on.
He should stop the clock. He should stop the clock.
Head and feet. Time off.
Yes, now, a bit late.
I thought the Catalan player had touched it, so it was back to 1. Just have a look.
Well, they want the video referee to have a look at this.
And they have a bit of pushing and shoving. And they're saying, well, we need the scrum. Mr. Bird involved. Well, it looks like Maguire's got a fingertip to it first. Does he? I think we'll see that he does. Oh, it's hard to say. Oh, well.
Which Maguire?
Head and feed to the Catalan Dragons.
Toss a coin. I think that's what the referee Richard Silverwood was thinking about. Say, hang on, how are we going to sort this out? Kick and chase from the scrum, gone. Well, it was on. Leeds, as nearly all Super League clubs do. When there's a scrum, they don't have a full back. They have him up on the defensive line.
This is Cyril Gossard. That's a great tackle by Rob Burrow. Here goes Adam Mogg again. He's run his blood to water, Adam Mogg.
He's had an outstanding match, hasn't he? Directed and got through a lot of hard work in defence as well.
This is Green Shields. 3 minutes remaining here. Don't forget, we'll have all the reaction to this splendid match for you in Super League Extra Time. You access that in about 3 minutes' time via the red buttons on your Sky handsets. Join us for that. We'll be talking to the two coaches. I bet if it stays like this, it'll be a relieved Brian McLennan. Here is Remy Castay.
Well, how on earth the officials have not seen that?
That's
a
probably
turnover.
Old Trafford beckoning for Leeds now, definitely, and probably end of the road for the Catalan Dragons.
Well, they can feel very proud of their effort. This will be up the jumper time.
Yeah, there'll be no histrionics from Leeds now.
Well, one wouldn't think so. And that's a good captain's knock, isn't it? So I'll go into dummy half and take a hammering.
Remember, 12 months ago, the Catalan Dragons departed the playoff scene by conceding 50 points to the Wigan Warriors on home soil. Here they have come to the home of the champions, and it's a 7-point ball game with just 2 minutes remaining. Such has been the improvement the back end of this season under Kevin Walters, who, remember, start of the year, they were calling for his head, and when we were there, midsummer, he was under real pressure. The rumour mill was saying that he was gone.
This shows you can salvage your career at any given time. But Brian McLennan, he will look towards a lot of positives as well, especially with the fact that Danny Maguire's outstanding performance. Okay, during the course of the game, he's come up with a couple of errors, but he was instrumental in just turning this game around. And those 3 tries in the space of 6 minutes, and most importantly, the last 6 minutes of that first half has turned this game into the Rhinos going to Old Trafford.
Yes, it was 22-4, wasn't it, at half-time? So the Dragons have won this second half. That'll be of no consolation to them. But it's a tremendous performance from them this year. And look at the way they keep the ball alive. Here is Tuxigas. Casey Maguire gets away from Diskin. The ball then is found its way to Tuxigas, but he's lost the ball. He's lost the ball.
Great work from Peacock. He knows that they've got there. Second year on the trot for Brian McLennan. It's been a brave effort from this fellow as well. He knows how tough it's been. He's out on his feet. Oh, they're still getting into it.
Kirk ran into a brick wall then, and it was Jean-Philippe Bale. And then they've made a mess of it, and they've given the penalty away. They have to take the penalty, though. They have to take the penalty. Leeds are celebrating. They are going to Old Trafford. There's no doubt about that.
He'll just take
The game is not over.
That's it. Getting in the touch.
Well, it might be over now. There we go. A fantastic effort from the Catalan Dragons. In the end, all for nothing. It's Leeds who make it to Old Trafford for the 3rd year in a row. And for Catalan Dragons, just the hard luck stories to look back on. But I'll tell you what, Leeds will go to Old Trafford and they will have some bumps and bruises to repair to play either St Helens or Wigan. Let's get down to Bill. He's got man of the match Danny Maguire with him.
Danny, thanks for talking to us so soon after the end of a game that was a lot closer and a lot nervier than maybe you had anticipated.
Yeah, Catalan's fought really hard in that second half, and we seem to shoot us sending the foot time and time again, making some silly errors, and won't be able to do that next week. We'll have to tidy up in that area a lot, and full credit to Catalan. They've showed some desire these last 3 games, 3 massive efforts, and yeah, we've got the result today, but the performance wasn't too good.
it says something that you had to go for a 1 point just to live, breathe a little bit more easily. That just shows how close it was.
They were getting a little bit scary towards the back end there. Catalan's got the better of us at their place a few months back in the last minute, so we know what they're capable of. But we hung in there. Now we're in the grand final. What we set out to achieve at the start of the year.
Champagne, £100 for charity as well. Where's that going to go, Danny?
I'd like to split if that's all right. The Leeds men cap who I support, and St Gemma's Hospice. My granddad died recently, so thanks very much.
Well done.
Emotional moment for Danny Maguire, and he's off to Old Trafford next week. Well, they have paid a fortune to get across from the south of France week after week to follow their team, the Catalan Dragons fans. Thousands more watching back home in Perpignan. This was the moment, I think, that Leeds knew they were on their way. The Kevin Sinfield drop goal, it increased the lead. It meant the Catalan Dragons had to score 3 times. The skipper, Kevin Sinfield, with his drop goal, the 20th drop goal for the Leeds Rhinos, and very few worth more than that. Brian McLennan then, he goes to Old Trafford knowing that no coach has won back-to-back grand finals. That is the prize on offer for Brian McLennan next week. Leeds though, Steve-O, they look exhausted, Leeds. That was a battle royal.
Certainly is. Full credit to the Catalan outfit, but there were glimpses of sheer brilliance from Leeds tonight, especially with that 6 minutes just before the half-time break when they produced sensational rugby league football, some of the most outstanding and skillful that we've seen this year. And there will be the positives that Brian McLennan will go towards next weekend's grand final, in the knowledge that especially Danny Maguire is back to his brilliant best. He really created all sorts of havoc in that first half, but it just shows you that if you do get into the ribs of this Leeds outfit, they can be turned over.